Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, the House may be on board for Trump's tax reform, but things are less certain in the Senate. As the time to vote for the bill draws nearer, we'll tell you which Republicans are for and which are against the reform.
And rainbow flags are waving in Australia, where the public voted on Tuesday to support same-sex marriage. Stay tuned to see what lawmakers plan to do to turn that sentiment into law. Looking local, Small Business Saturday will take place on November 25th. Today, I sit down with Main Street Lexington's Jamie Gooden to talk about how local stores are gearing up for the holiday shopping season.
And 2 local charities are gearing up to provide families in need with a Thanksgiving feast. All that and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm James Laverty.
And I'm Paige Williams. Breaking news. Minnesota Senator Al Franken is the latest public figure to be accused of sexual assault. Radio anchor Leanne Tweeden accused the senator of forcibly kissing her during a 2006 USO tour and of posing for a photo with his hands on her breasts as she slept. Her post claims that the then comedian told her he wrote a skit for the pair that included a kiss, and despite her protest, she alleges he insisted they practice the kiss during rehearsal. Franken has publicly apologized for the photo, but said her account of the kiss does not match his memory. And more breaking news now. The federal corruption trial of New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez ended in a mistrial today. Judge William Walls declared a mistrial after the jury members said they were hopelessly deadlocked. The mistrial comes after a 5-year investigation into Menendez by the Justice Department. He faces charges of conspiracy, bribery, and fraud.
President Trump is back at the White House after a whirlwind trip to Asia, and he's returning to a very busy Washington. First on his to-do list, the tax reform debate on Capitol Hill. CNN's John Lawrence reports.
House Republicans may soon help President Trump get closer to a major win. A yes vote on the GOP tax plan.
Even today, we have more meetings with members who are working to get to yes and who ultimately will vote for the bill. So we're going to pass the bill.
However, the mood isn't as confident in the Senate. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson is the first Republican to go against the Senate version of the plan, telling the Wall Street Journal he won't vote for the tax package in its current form. Critics say the plan will increase income inequality.
Terrible proposal, but it's paid for by the billionaire class who control the political process.
Supporters refute that, saying the repeal of Obamacare's individual mandate brings $338 billion to the proposal.
The plan before the Finance Committee fulfills our main goal for tax reform, which is taking more money out of Washington's pockets and putting more money into the pocket of the middle class.
Another issue, all tax cuts expire at the end of 2025, which means without some sort of congressional action, every taxpayer could eventually see a tax hike, while the corporate tax cut is permanent.
Helping the rich get richer, big corporations get bigger, while the middle class is left stuck in neutral.
It aims to make taxes for families lower, simpler, and fairer. And according to the Nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation and recent news reports, the middle class are the biggest winners in the Senate tax plan.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The House does not include a repeal of the Obamacare individual mandate in their bill.
Australians are celebrating after a 2-month national survey came out in favor of legalizing same-sex marriage. At least 61% of Australians were in favor of marriage equality.
The Australian people have spoken in their millions, and they have voted overwhelmingly yes.
Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull says Parliament will approve the measure and pass legislation by the end of the year.
As calls are mounting for Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore to drop out of the race, his campaign is calling into question Moore's latest accuser, Beverly Young Nelson, who says the Republican assaulted her when she was 16. Nelson also showed what she says was Moore's signature, written in her 1977 yearbook. Moore's attorney said during a news conference Wednesday that they hired a handwriting analysis to look into whether the signature in Nelson's yearbook is authentic.
We demand that you immediately release the yearbook, the actual document, so that we can see the lettering, we can see the ink on the page, we can see the indentations, and we can see how old is that ink. Is it 40 years old or is it a week old?
Wednesday evening, the Alabama GOP held an emergency meeting on the Senate race, but did not vote on whether to poll Moore as its candidate.
Zimbabwe's controversial leader, 93-year-old Robert Mugabe, is under house arrest, and the military is now in control of the country. But the military denies that this is a coup.
To both our people and the world beyond our borders, we wish to make it abundantly clear that this is not a military takeover of government. What the Zimbabwe Defense Forces is doing is to pacify a degenerating political, social, and economic situation in our country, which, if not addressed, may result in a violent conflict.
Mugabe is meeting with the South African delegation at the State House today to negotiate a resolution to the political turmoil and the likely end to Mugabe's decades-long rule.
Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report.
I always tried to shop small, but never realized how important it was until I became a business owner.
Small Business Saturday will take place on November 25th. Reporter Noya Joe will take us live to Urban Farm Girl's new location on Main Street, where the owner says that business is booming.
Looks like we're going to get some sunshine and some warm weather this weekend as we anticipate the holiday week. I'll have your weekend weather forecast next.
And later, Virginia is making history as the first state to add computer science programming to its core K-12 curriculum requirements. We'll tell you how one local high school is creating the next generation of coders. All that and more coming up after the break.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Just 2 months ago, Sarah Dyer decided to up and move her retail store from its location in Buena Vista to its current spot on Main Street in Lexington. Now, Dyer says business has never been better. The Rockbridge Report's Noya Joe is downtown at Urban Farm Girl with the story. Noya?
Urban Farm Girl used to operate in Buena Vista, where the owner grew up. She's happy she made the move to Lexington, but is not cutting ties with her old hometown. Urban Farm Girl is a small business created by a Buena Vista woman. On Labor Day, it moved its retail outlet from Buena Vista to Lexington. The owner says she had the best 2 months of business since then. Sarah Dyer, since she was little, has been interested in repurposing things that might otherwise get taken to a landfill.
I've always liked upcycling and trying to save old things and then blending those old things with new things as well.
After she got married in her 20s, Dyer moved to Ashland, where she was a preschool teacher and exercise instructor for 32 years. In her spare time, Dyer has kept up her hobbies by doing decorations. 3 years ago, she opened Urban Farm Girl at 21 and 22 Magnolia Avenue in Buena Vista, where she lives. She was not making as much money as she wished.
And I was able to pay the mortgage on the building, all the bills associated with the building, and continue buying and building up inventory. So in that way, I did make money and pay myself, but in addition to that, I didn't get a paycheck.
Dyer's friends had always suggested to her that she move to Lexington for more foot traffic. She didn't take that suggestion until one day she passed by 19 West Nelson Street, which Celtic Tides had left for a Jefferson Street address. She immediately called. In 2 weeks, she signed a lease.
And those have been my best 2 months in 3 years.
Tracy Lyons, the executive director of the area's Chamber of Commerce, said the two colleges in Lexington have a huge impact on retail stores like Urban Farm Girl. Lyons also said Dyer opened the store at the right time because the football games and Parents' Weekend brought a lot of foot traffic to downtown Lexington. For now, Dyer is keeping the store in Buena Vista for storage and workshop. She owns that building. She says she hopes one day she can go back and expand it for a second retail store. Lyons said the stores that are doing great in Buena Vista are those that rely more on residents and the long-term relations between business and people. Dyer has learned that Lexington brings the added dimension of more tourists to the retail mix. Back to you, James and Paige.
Thanks, Noya. The holidays are just around the corner, and other local businesses are gearing up for what they hope to be a successful shopping season. I sat down with Main Street Lexington's Jamie Gooden to talk about how the importance of buying local and the issues that many small businesses in Lexington face as the Amazon effect continues to grow. So Small Business Saturday is on November 25th this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what shoppers can expect?
So Small Business Saturday is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, the one right before Black Friday, and the whole point of it is for people to remember there's small businesses in the world that deserve shopping too, not just malls and Amazons and that kind of thing. Here in Lexington, shoppers can expect a pretty fun Chamber of Commerce sponsored coordination of events all throughout the county.
So a lot of small businesses have been affected by what some are calling the Amazon effect. How do you think local businesses in Lexington have been affected by online retailers?
Just like local businesses in any place, just the speed and ease of the transactions on Amazon are just so prevalent, and the variety is just so awesome. But there's been a lot of positive chat and synergy between businesses in Lexington to combat that and focus more on the experience instead of just the product. And it's been a source of some really fun conversations.
That's good. So why do you think it's important for businesses to shop local?
Shopping local is important for a number of reasons. First of all, it's an investment in the local economy. Perhaps, not always, but sometimes it is more expensive to shop local, but that's okay. Those tax revenues stay here. In Lexington, we have a pretty low tax base in terms of taxable businesses because there's so many nonprofits, churches, and schools, so we really are thirsty for every tax dollar. So it helps the economy here. It's an investment in that. Also, it's just kind of the neighborliness of Lexington. We all know it's small, it's quaint, everyone knows each other. It just feels like the right thing to do.
Speaking of the holiday season, it seems like temperatures are starting to drop. What do you think, Brendan? Should we be pulling out our winter coats?
Well, James, actually, this weekend looks like temperatures are going to rise, so it looks like you can hold off on putting on your parka for now. Let's take a look at the local forecast. And so for today, we currently have a live shot of downtown Lexington on this beautiful and sunny day. And now, as we look at our local almanac, we have a high of 59 degrees, a low of 30 degrees. A barometric pressure of 29.94 inches of mercury, a wind speed of 14 miles an hour with gusts of 21, and a humidity of 29%, sorry. And now for our current regional conditions. Across the board, it's pretty sunny. In Stanton, Lexington, and Buena Vista, it's 58 degrees. Charlottesville is a bit warmer at 65, and Lynchburg and Roanoke are both at 62. And now as we look at our radar, most of this precipitation, as you can see here, is moving away towards the coast, which is giving us these wonderful sunny skies. And now as we look at our 5-day forecast, Friday looks to be another beautiful day with a high of 55 and a low of 34. Saturday looks to be beautiful. Looks to be a nice day starting out. However, later in the day we could get some rain. Sunday is going to be partly sunny with a high of 46 and a low of 26. And Monday is going to once again have more sun with a high of 47 and a low of 27. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brennan. Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, Lexington citizens debuted their first annual America Recycles Day on Wednesday. Find out how Rockbridge County celebrates Mother Nature after the break.
And still to come, Perry McClure High School is integrating computer programming into its curriculum, one code at a time.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
When it comes to saving money,
What? Parents!
don't act like a baby.
Oh, it's like they're having their own little meeting.
This is so humiliating. Be the boss. I'm the boss.
What the?
Power nap. You were saying. And make a budget. Let's get to work. Need a little help?
Stacy, read back the notes.
I can't read. What's it say?
Create a personalized savings plan and get other tools and tips.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school. At feedthepig.org.
A new group in Rockbridge County has formed to combat divisiveness in politics. The Rockbridge Civil Discourse Society meets once a week to talk politics with civility and tackle heated issues, all while maintaining respect for each other's differing viewpoints. For more information on the Rockbridge Civil Discourse Society, visit rockbridgereport.academic.wlu.edu. And who said recycling couldn't be fun? America Recycles Day has been celebrated nationally for 20 years. However, the event made its debut in Lexington on Wednesday, as citizens from both the city and Rockbridge County came together to promote the importance of recycling. The celebration included various games and activities, as well as a mobile outreach classroom. Organizers of the event hope to see it continue for years to come and for recycling rates to double in the surrounding areas.
Local law enforcement agencies want to ensure the weekend of Lee Jackson and MLK Day in January is conflict-free for parade goers. Police are reusing a game plan created by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in the years following the 9/11 terrorist attacks to create a temporary unified system of authority and communication. After the violent clashes in Charlottesville in August, concern is heightened around this upcoming weekend, but the local police say that they are optimistic that no conflict will occur over the three-day weekend. The Virginia Department of Education recently granted Buena Vista's elementary schools partial accreditation status based on test score improvements. Enderley Heights and F.W. King have struggled to achieve a full accreditation for the past several years due to poor SOL performances. This year's third graders will be the first group of students to have both a writing and a literacy program since kindergarten. Still, the students have faced an uphill battle with the economic difficulties in the city and with teacher turnover. Buena Vista schools have incorporated new computer science requirements with Gusta this year. Reporter Caroline Leak has the story.
Donna Fraser is a longtime teacher and alumna of Perry McClure High School. She joined forces with Principal Anna Graham to spearhead a computer science program to join the statewide initiative. Now students can earn college credit by taking AP Computer Science or AP Science Principles. Fraser also offers classes in cybersecurity and computer information systems, which lets students earn certifications to add to their resumes. Many of Fraser's students have gone on to study some form of computer science in college. Even if some don't pursue this as a career, they think it will still be valuable.
If this ever comes up in the job or occupation that I plan on doing, which it probably will because computer science is involved with everything now, then it's good to have as a background.
You learn how the internet works and then how the data is transferred. This is the base, this is how this works. And you learn how the codes are behind the scenes of everything, how everything works.
Kelsey Johnson and her classmates also learn about coding, encrypting, and how to use sites like the Norse attack map to watch cyber attacks in real time. President Obama announced a Computer Science for All initiative in 2016.
Now we have to make sure all our kids are equipped for the jobs of the future, which means not just being able to work with computers, but developing the analytical and coding skills to power our innovation economy.
Fraser says the precision that programming requires can be challenging. Her students occasionally go to the elementary schools to teach younger students more about computer science. Fraser says this is part of the school system's eventual plan to fully integrate computer sciences. But the field is constantly changing.
There's always something new coming out. There's something new to try, something new to test.
Computer science touches, and the cybersecurity, touches every part of our digital lives now. None of us will ever work without being touched by those two things.
I'm Caroline Leak, reporting from Buena Vista.
They apologized, but President Trump says that the suspended UCLA basketball players should thank China's President Xi Jinping for allowing them to return to the U.S. We'll have the details on the story as well as your local sports news after the break.
And later, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and local charities are looking to provide families in need with their holiday meals.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you.
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go. Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Zane!
Now, let's take a look at sports.
3 UCLA basketball players were arrested in China last week, accused of stealing sunglasses from a luxury store. Officials said Chinese authorities dropped the charges after men admitted guilt. President Donald Trump was in Beijing at the time of the arrest and asked Chinese president for their release. Coach Steve Alford announced the players' indefinite suspension yesterday. The players also issued a public apology thanking Trump for their release. The team had been in China for a game against Georgia Tech in Shanghai on Saturday and won 63-60. Back in Virginia, the Generals are traveling all across the country this weekend. The Washington and Lee football team is headed off to Ohio to face off against the University of Mount Union on Saturday. The Generals defeated Shenandoah 48-21 last Saturday, winning its 4th ODAC football championship in the last 8 years last Saturday. The victory gave the Generals an automatic bid to the NCAA Division III tournament. And the Washington and Lee men's soccer team is headed to Chicago to face off against the North Park University on Saturday. Men's soccer moved on to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament after defeating Oglethorpe last Sunday. The Generals advanced 5-4 on penalty kicks following a 3-3 draw against the Petrels. Also last Saturday, Washington and Lee field hockey fell to the top-ranked Messiah 3-2 in the second round of the NCAA tournament. The Generals ended their season with a record of 15-5, tied for the most wins in a single season in program history. Both men and women's basketball kick off their seasons this week. Men's basketball will compete in Los Farnell Classic, facing off against Swanee on Saturday and Oglethorpe on Sunday. And women's basketball will compete in the Roanoke College Tip-Off Tournament, facing off against Brigham Southern on Saturday and Piedmont on Sunday. Women's basketball team defeated Mary Washington last night 60-55, making the first time Generals have beat a ranked opponent in 7 years. And both men's and women's swimming are headed to Pennsylvania this weekend to compete in the Franklin and Marshall International. That's all I have for sports. Go Jennies!
Thank you, Aspen. Local community organizations received a total of $182,000 Tuesday night from the Community Foundation for Rockbridge, Bath, and Allegheny counties. The foundation takes donations and invests them in endowment funds and gives them to grants as local community organizations in the fall. This year, more than 60 organizations, including the Rockbridge SPCA, were recipients of those grants.
Charitable organizations in Rockbridge County have plans for outreach efforts to help those in need this holiday season. Reporter Keenan Willard has the story.
The holiday season is supposed to be full of fellowship and family. However, for those less fortunate, it can be anything but. That's why several organizations here in Rockbridge County are gearing up to provide those families with a happy holiday after all. It calls itself the Restaurant Without a Cash Register and provides a hot meal to anyone and everyone free of charge. Thanksgiving dinner at the community table in Lexington is just one of the outreach programs taking place in Rockbridge County this holiday season.
We try to make it feel as nice as possible for them. Linens, flowers, nice, try to make it a little extra special.
The annual meal is one of the biggest draws for the organization, which serves over 150 people during their weekly lunch and dinner.
So for the holidays, we always do a very special Christmas dinner. It usually is something fabulous like prime rib, and we have a line. This is very typical, a long line for the holidays.
Those in need of a more consistent source of meals can head one floor upstairs to the Rockbridge Area Relief Association, whose food pantry is open 4 days a week.
We actually have a whole holiday section of our food pantry that'll have pie filling and pumpkin and stuffing and that sort of thing.
Representatives said that they will also have a limited number of turkeys available during the week of Thanksgiving. The food pantry serves an average of 600 families and individuals monthly, but that number could potentially increase as the holidays arrive. While the tangible resources that these organizations provide to those in need are vital, perhaps just as important is the accompanying sense of togetherness that makes the holidays so special.
I think that it's a community event for them to come and have some fellowship and be with their friends. So not only is the meal good, it's just a place to come and enjoy each other's company.
Anyone in need can contact the Rockbridge Area Relief Association through their helpline, a system that provides access to resources such as rent assistance and shelter. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Keenan Willard.
The Rockbridge Area Relief Association's helpline can be reached by calling 540-463-662. The helpline is open Monday to Thursday from 9:30 to noon and 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
And that's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching. You can stay current with the Rockbridge area news on our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. We'll be back on Tuesday, November 28th on Channel 18 for your live update. Until then, have a good night and a happy Thanksgiving.